Imagine this. You're flying your drone over a stunning valley, golden light spilling across the horizon. Everything looks perfect. But suddenly, the wind shifts. The battery starts dropping faster than you expected. Your heart races. For a second, you think this flight is about to turn into a disaster. But then, almost like magic, the drone reacts. It turns itself around, plots the safest route back, dodges trees, and comes home, landing softly at your feet. That's not a dream anymore. That's the DJI Mini 5 Pro's new next-gen return-to-home system. And today, we're not just talking about it, we're going to see how it changes everything you thought you knew about drone safety. This isn't the boring old return to home that just flew in a straight line and prayed for the best. No. This is smarter. Faster. Almost like the drone has instincts. And if you've ever flown a drone before, you know how crucial that is. Because let's be honest, we've all had that moment where you lose sight of it for just a second. Maybe you flew too far. Maybe the sun blinded you. Maybe interference scrambled your signal. That's when your stomach drops. That's when you realize how fragile these flights can be. And that's exactly why this feature is so exciting. So let's start with the hook. What's actually new here? Well, the DJI Mini 5 Pro doesn't just memorize where you took off and fly back in a straight line. It's now using advanced AI mapping, improved GPS, and obstacle sensing from all directions to chart a path like it's thinking in real time. Picture it like Google Maps, but for your drone's flight. If there's a tree in the way, it won't slam into it. If the wind pushes it off course, it recalculates. And if the battery is dangerously low, it prioritizes the fastest and safest route home automatically. Now here's the kicker. DJI claims this new system is so reliable, you could lose connection miles away, and still feel confident the drone will come back without a scratch. And for creators, for filmmakers, for hobbyists, that's peace of mind you can't put a price on. But is it really that good? That's the question we're answering today. And let me tell you, the demonstration is jaw-dropping. DJI didn't just test this in ideal conditions. They flew it through areas filled with tall buildings, dense forests, and even situations where the GPS signal wasn't perfect. The Mini 5 Pro used its new onboard processing to recognize obstacles, predict movement, and avoid danger. Think about that for a second. A drone this small, acting this smart, making decisions faster than a human pilot could. That's not just an upgrade. That's a whole new level of trust between you and your machine. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This isn't just about emergencies. The return-to-home demo showed how you can use this feature as part of your normal flight routine. Say you're filming over a lake, and you just want to focus on framing the perfect cinematic shot. Instead of worrying about whether you have enough juice to get back, you can let the drone handle it. Once it hits a certain threshold, boom, it kicks in, guides itself home, and you can relax. It's like having a co-pilot who never blinks. And before you think, well, isn't this just like the last generation, let me stop you. Because here's a mini hook worth sticking around for, the Mini 5 Pro doesn't just fly back. It lands with precision. I'm talking about recognizing where it took off, even if the ground looks different now. Imagine grass swaying in the wind, shadows shifting with the sun, maybe even a new obstacle in the way. The drone adapts. It's not perfect, of course, but it's far more accurate than anything we've seen before. And if you're wondering, how is this even possible on such a tiny drone? That's where the secret sauce comes in. DJI has packed this thing with smarter vision sensors, better AI processing, and a more powerful chipset that works hand in hand with the improved battery efficiency. This is next-gen not just as a marketing phrase, but as a real, tangible leap forward. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, this sounds amazing, but what happens if, and that's exactly what we'll get into in part 2, real-world examples, surprising challenges, and the moments where this feature truly proves whether it's a gimmick or a game-changer. Let's imagine a real-world scenario. You're hiking in the Rockies, standing at the edge of a cliff, flying your DJI Mini 5 Pro to capture that perfect sunset shot. Suddenly, a gust of wind takes it off balance. Your controller loses connection for just a moment, and panic sets in. Normally, this is where you'd be sweating bullets. But with next-gen return to home, here's what happens. The drone instantly switches into survival mode, assesses the wind speed, calculates the safest return altitude, and corrects its path, all without you doing a thing. And when DJI showed this in action during the demo, it wasn't staged perfection. They purposely stressed the drone in dangerous conditions. It wasn't just about showing off smooth flight, it was about showing you that if something goes wrong, you still have a lifeline. That's not marketing fluff. That's life-saving tech for your drone. Here's another surprise: the new return to home isn't just a straight-line escape. It can now create a dynamic safe corridor. Imagine flying in a city, weaving between tall buildings. Losing signal here used to be a nightmare. The old drones would just go in a line and crash into the nearest obstacle. But the Mini 5 Pro can detect those buildings, adjust its path, and snake through them like it has a sixth sense. That's the kind of leap we're talking about. But here's a twist: DJI didn't just design this for pros. They designed it for beginners, too. If you've never flown a drone before, this feature could save you from your first big mistake. Think about it. You're learning to fly, you get a little too ambitious, and before you know it, you're in trouble. With this system, even if you freeze, the drone won't. It'll bring itself back. And that means more confidence, more flights, and more creative freedom. Now, let me throw another mini hook your way. This isn't just about coming home, it's about how it comes home. The precision landing demo blew my mind. The drone literally used its onboard camera to scan the landing spot before takeoff. And when it returned, it matched that image, even compensating for environmental changes. That's not just tech, that's borderline sci-fi. And for such a small drone to pull it off. Unreal. Of course, nothing's perfect. And I want to be real with you. There are still limits. Strong enough winds, extreme interference, or blocked GPS signals can still cause issues. But here's the thing: the Mini 5 Pro narrows the margin of error so much, that these what-if moments are becoming fewer and farther between. And that's why this feels like the start of a new era. So, let's wrap this up with the bigger picture. Why does this matter? Because drones aren't just toys anymore. They're tools for filmmakers, storytellers, adventurers. And when you're relying on a tool, you need trust. This next-gen return-to-home demonstration isn't just a flashy feature, it's DJI saying, "Trust us. We've got your back." And after seeing it in action, I believe them. Think about where we were just a few years ago. Return to home was clunky, slow, and honestly kind of scary. Now, it feels like an intelligent partner. A drone that doesn't just fly, it thinks. And when you combine that with the cinematic power already packed into the Mini 5 Pro, you start to realize we're not just looking at an upgrade. We're looking at the future of safe, creative drone flight. So the next time you're out there, camera pointed at the horizon, wondering if you can push just a little further, remember this feature. Because with the DJI Mini 5 Pro, the adventure doesn't have to end in panic. It can end exactly where it should, safely, back at home.